Okay, so I think I'm live on YouTube. I apologize for the picture quality this week on account of I've got my rather ancient old laptop here to do the stream with. And yeah, it's probably about like 7 years old or something like that. And the camera's not so good. Last week I had a few trolls ranting on, and it's it's kind of fun in a way to shout at them and generally give them a hard time, but also I sort of thought, well, it's not that professional of me to do that, so I thought I'd use my laptop this time on account of I think you can stop them. Someone told me you can just block them or something if you use the laptop, so I thought I'd give it a try with the laptop. I got a different laptop next week anyway, so it'll be better quality, my MacBook. But yeah, and people are asking me a little update about some projects. I've been talking about this Bristol men's group for a while, and really getting something together for young guys to come together and get some challenge and some upward direction. But I still haven't got a venue for it, unfortunately. So I haven't really been able to get that together. The two venues I was trying to get are both kind of moving or losing their licenses, or haven't got the right rooms and that kind of thing. So that hasn't worked essentially. At the moment, I'm trying to get something together in Brighton where I have got a venue I can use, and maybe with another buddy of mine who did a lot of Humaniversity confrontational work. And we think we could create something pretty fucking kick-ass. I've just got to convince him to get in. He's currently working as a builder, and young guy. And when I hang out with him, we know we could, get something moving with the bioenergetics and some good, confrontational therapy for young guys in. But I haven't really, we haven't actually solidified anything yet. But hopefully soon. I'm down in Brighton again at the weekend. Running a group down there. Also, if you're in the Brighton area on Sunday, I've got a couple of places left. 11 o'clock till 5 on a Sunday. Come along and get a good burst of bioenergetics. Really get yourself in your body, get yourself down in your belly, and how to be really powerful and active in life. I love this practice. I have to admit, I haven't made many videos for a while, apart from my live streams. I've got a little backlog list, and I need to get some shit together with it. But I'm still regularly practicing bioenergetics and giving one-to-ones and running groups, and it's such a powerful technique. I mean, man, if you get into this bioenergetics, you're going to be so, and you're a young guy, for example, or young woman, by the time you're like 30, you're going to be so advanced, you could take on the fucking world, really, because it just puts you right in your body and lets you access fully all of your energy and power. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing really like it that compares. So I can only encourage people. Once again, apologies for the picture quality this week. I'm on a laptop, a rather ancient old laptop, before anyone writes in. I see there's a few people watching. If you've got a question, then do feel free to ask. I've got as I said, I've got my laptop today. So if I get any more trolls, instead of shouting at them, I think what I will do is just block them. Apparently you can block them. Be a bit of a drag if none turn up, having done all this, having gone to the effort of bringing my old laptop over from the house. Anyway, what else have I been up to? Last weekend I was co-leading a workshop called I Want Change here at Leela, and that was we had about 40 people along for that, and that was excellent. The first weekend workshop of a thing called the Leela Life Training, and it's like it's group therapy. It's fucking great. I mean, like hardly anywhere is any group therapy, proper good group therapy going on anymore. Everyone's trying to do their own thing, and you just see the power of working with a group. All the stuff, your own personal stuff comes up around group dynamics and other people in the group that trigger you and stuff like that. And the release work that comes in, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. Group therapy. It has to make a comeback soon. It has to make a comeback because it's such a rapid way to get real change in your life. And also it's not like kind of having to sit there talking to some fucking psychoanalyst and paying a fortune for it every week or something like that. It's nothing like that. So you don't need to do anything like that. Anyway, if you've got a question or anything, just stick it in. I'm wondering really if, I don't know what this little thing does here even, bloody hell. Just pushing these little things to see what they do. Anyway, I'll do my stream anyway for a while. And if I get some participants, some people looking in, then feel free to ask a question. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, I'm still enjoying leading workshops, and it's always a challenging thing I find when you work on your own quite a bit. I work on my own fair bit, to keep yourself up sometimes. And but this bioenergetic practice, just doing it in the mornings, you just feel upbeat afterwards, and you can easily take powerful decisions for yourself and move forwards. It's fucking awesome practice, an awesome practice. I run 2 regular classes here at Lila, hour-long workshops, and this morning everyone's running around the room. One of my favorite exercises with your arms in the air, and it drives people. It's right on the edge. You can see people are right on the fucking edge, and you have to inspire them. I have to really inspire them to do it and to keep moving for like 20-30 minutes like that, when pretty much anyone after 5 minutes would have collapsed and given up. But when you do that and you do it as a group and you go through it, the power of it is incredible, because you realize half the shit that you think you can't do, you actually can do. And I find it nourishing to someone sending me a question. Anyway, I love the practice, because you come out of that, like doing 20-30 minutes of that, and it's like half your brain has changed. You realize all the time you're holding yourself back with your own negativity, and actually is like you can fucking do it. The bottom line is you can do it. And so I like this running. They used to call it second wind. You have to run around the room with your arms in the air, and keep your arms up and keep on expressing and making sound, and so much clears. So it's like it's just such a confrontational fucking thing to do, but it gives you so much energy for the whole day. And so I did that for half an hour, and then we were doing some bow and arch and some shaking at the end, and I'm impressed just how much people can move in a 1 hour session with this kind of practice, how much they can move in a 1 hour session. So many people writing to me about bits of blah blah, whatever, the algorithm, people always trying to market things. I think marketing is complete waste of fucking time, personally. I think marketing is a waste of time. Just be yourself, get out there and just fucking do it. I was saying earlier, I've got a buddy of mine who I'm trying to get into to co-lead this kick-ass men's group we're going to do one night a month down in Brighton is my plan at the moment. And I'm always saying to him, man, just get on fucking YouTube and open your mouth. People be turned on to you, what you're doing, and just keep putting your energy out. But no, oh yes, I might do it, but not quite. And it's amazing how people hold themselves back, particularly the most talented people. And then you get these other kind of, I don't know, Americanized in a bad way, imbeciles on YouTube putting it out and doing all these kind of marketing techniques, and it's a load of bollocks. Everyone's bored of it. You just get on YouTube, you just put your energy out, and it's okay. People who are turned on to what you're doing will find you. You don't need to do fuck all marketing. I don't pay a penny to marketing. It's bullshit. You just be yourself, put yourself out, and people who turned on to what you're doing will find you over time if you stay coherent. And that's been my experience. I've been running this channel a couple of years, and I get tons of job offers from it and chances to travel around all over the place. It's fucking awesome. I can't complain about it. Some people complain that I say the word fuck too much, but yeah, what to do, eh? Anyway, if you've got a meaningful question, then feel free to ask it about your bioenergetic practice or therapy in general, if you're into that. Like I said, I'm on a bit of a low quality picture for those of you who regularly tune in, and I apologize about that, but it's my old laptop, which apparently you can stop people from, you can somewhere, let's have a look. Oh yeah, you can kind of remove them if you want to. You can't do that with a phone, you see. I usually not use my phone, but anyway, that is how it is for this week. I'm turned on to what's going on, and I like it actually that the autumn is coming. The summer in the UK has been fucking awesome this year, but I like it that the autumn is coming and get into some good working with people, firing them up. No one really wants to come to intense therapeutic workshops during the summer when you could be lying in the park. I understand it on a Sunday, but now the autumn is here, the excuses are diminished, and it's time to really get your energy up and get yourself moving, because that is what needs to happen, so that you have satisfaction in your own life. You feel like you're living your own life and really doing it, you know. And there's actually fuck all stopping you. Crypto drag. Oh yes, I know you from a crypto channel. Hola. Maybe you're Spanish as well. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, if anyone's out there and you got a question on body-based therapy, bioenergetics, just stick it out. I'm not going to talk about cryptocurrency, which is another thing I deal in a bit, but this is a different stream. So, hey Dave, Ethan, hey man, how are you doing? Which Ethan is it? Oh yeah, I think you've been into a few. I don't know if you've come to one of my groups, but I think I recognize your questions. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing good. I thought earlier today I was gonna get a cold actually. Then I had a rather intense sexual experience, and it seems to have gone away. I don't know if it was the sexual experience that got rid of it. I don't like to get a cold, and so I usually cold shower or take some tobacco or whatever. But I'm feeling good. We ran a very good group at the weekend, and that was very nourishing for me, just to lead about 40 people through intense group therapeutic process. So I'm feeling good. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? I hope things are moving for you. I hope things are moving for you. And, you know, whatever's happening, you can move stuff. The main thing that stops people from moving forward in life is they listen to too much negativity in their own mind. And then the other thing that stops them is they try to get rid of it. That's a waste of fucking time. You can't really get rid of the negative thoughts, you know. It's not really going to work like that. You can try for a while, but then you end up you're beating yourself up when they come back. The best thing to do is to keep your energy moving in a good way, you know, particularly in the mornings, and then you can overcome anything. It doesn't matter what trauma you went through as a kid. It doesn't matter how much shit stuff happened to you. You can overcome anything if you want to. If you want to do it, progressively taking responsibility and moving deeper within yourself, you know, you can do it. Anyway, I'm sitting here doing my channel on a rather old laptop today, and be interesting to hear from anyone who has got a question or wants to share a little bit what's going on. I've been running this Telegram support group, but there hasn't been so much activity on that either. But maybe I need to push it a little bit more and get out there and make a daily kind of little statement on it. I'm looking for ways to support people who want to step up, who really want to step up. Okay, best way to release chronic tension in the pelvis. I've dealt with a Variacelli for about 3 years now, and as soon as I started learning bioenergetics, it made a lot of sense to me. Input. One thing that I don't know what a Variacelli is, but tension in the pelvis. I would use some basic exercises. You can look up pelvic rotation and pelvic drops or pelvic bumping, and to do those well, what you actually need to do. Is to really feel into the pelvis. They're mostly lying down exercises. There are some stand-up exercises you can do with the pelvis, but I think to release tension, what you don't want to do is be pushing from the mind too much. If you look on my channel for some pelvic rotation or pelvic bumping, I think I've called it on there. They're two different exercises, and there's also something working a bit with the pelvis. I think I called it Kundalini aquatic spine or something like that. If you look that one up on YouTube, you'll find some basic exercises. And the trick with the pelvis, when you're working on a mattress, you know, lying down, usually with your knees up and your feet planted like on the floor, the trick with that is to breathe and feel into it rather than kind of from your mind really trying to push it to release. It doesn't usually work like that, the pelvis. You have to really breathe and feel in there, and then it will start to just naturally release. The basic thing with the pelvis is it has a lot of energy. You know, it's a very powerful part of your body. You know, your sexuality is around the pelvis. And because of that, because of all the sexual morality and fear that we carry around, the mind tends to exert a lot of control over the pelvis. And this is where the tension comes from. And the pelvis has got a natural way of releasing tension, but you just need to get into some of these exercises I'm mentioning and do them regularly, do them gently, and really feel in there. And at some point you'll find your pelvis will start moving on the mat of its own accord and will just release. It'll just release. And it's very, very liberating. And, you know, it's like literally your whole body starts to move on the mat and unwrap. And that can happen. That can happen for anyone. You just need to stick with it, and it will happen. So look up some of those exercises if you're getting turned on to bioenergetics on my YouTube channel. Look for put in pelvis for a start, and then look for pelvic release, pelvic rotation, or the other one, pelvic bumping. Usually do the rotation and then slowly into the bumping is how I generally lead it. I often do it in groups for like taking an hour to get in slowly, get people really feeling, and by the end, people are like bouncing up and down off the mattress. They can't believe it. Pelvic work is fucking great. So I hope that can inspire you to have a look and get into it. Ethan, you have any advice on joining bio groups? I don't drive, and unfortunately, newest groups at least a few hours drive away. It is difficult. It is difficult, you know, because there isn't so much bioenergetics going on, and that is just the bottom line reality of it. There's not so much going on. You know, a little bit in London, a bit here in Dorset with me, and the occasional bit in Brighton I'm doing. A few other guys like a buddy of mine, Anna Prem, another one, Rakendra, a guy called Guy Gladstone in London, a guy who learned off him, Seth Newman in London. But that aside, there isn't so much going on. You can also look up trauma release exercises, TRE, and there's a lot more groups of that. And those exercises are like a kind of subset of bioenergetics, a very small subset, which an American guy kind of patented and trademarks and all that stuff, which is fine, as it's got it out there. And you can do a training in those to teach them. And so there's a lot more of those teachers around. It doesn't have anywhere near the depth of bioenergetics, but it is like a kind of a thing you can get into. Otherwise, what I tend to say to people realistically is get into a daily practice. You know, you can follow me on YouTube, I'm sure you are. Get into a daily practice and maybe join one of the support groups that I've got running, one on Telegram and one on Facebook, which the Facebook one I'm not giving enough energy to because it doesn't message me when there are comments. But I should maybe try and get it to do that. But, you know, and that way you can hook up a little bit, at least online, with other people who are into bio. Because the main things with these kind of therapeutic approaches is that, you know, it's hard to find like-minded souls. And then when it's tough or when you feel a bit down, you know, you need a bit of inspiration and encouragement to keep going with it. You need a bit, you know, and then when you do keep going with it, you know, then you move through stuff and you can go deep. Even working on your own, you can start to go deep. The other thing I would say is if you're a few hours away, you know, obviously for an evening group or maybe a one-day group or something like that, that's a bit much. But there are workshops like weekend workshops or, you know, 3-day workshops I run here at Leela, and try and tune into one of those. Then you get inspired. You'll learn a lot of new postures and stuff like that. And, you know, you also get feedback on gentle feedback, you know, on how well you're doing it, so that you can have pointers to really get the pose internalized. So you can scan and you know yourself when you're not quite doing the posture right and how to correct it. And very importantly, how to keep breathing and feeling in the exercise. So that's the advice I'd give, Ethan. You know, don't let yourself down in any way. Look what you can commit to realistically on a daily basis. And also look, can you get yourself to a group somewhere for a weekend? I'm not sure if I've met you in person. Apologies if I have. So many people come through my brain or my awareness or whatever somewhere. Sometimes my memory is pretty shit at remembering them, to be honest, which is a bit embarrassing at times, as people stop me in the streets or in the street also in London or whatever. But and I have a bit of a blank look on my face. Anyway, also exciting news. I'm Elliott Hulse. Maybe some of you have heard of him or into his channel. He's coming to London on November 10th and 11th. And I'm going to be assisting him a bit, I think, with his workshop on the 11th, a one-day grounding camp. He's doing two things, I think a talking thing or a question and answer thing on the Saturday. And then at another venue, can't remember the names of the venue, but they're both in central London. He's doing a one-day grounding camp. So that'll be exciting. When you were going the hardest with bioenergetics, and what impact did that amount of working out do? Like the everyday goal is sufficient, but what if you were doing it every hour? Well, I mean, I think it's impractical to do it every hour for most people. You know, I would look at build what you want to do You want to create a program that you can commit to, that you can commit to. A lot of people hijack themselves by setting huge expectations, and mostly it's an excuse to beat themselves up a little bit ritually when they don't do it, and go around in that kind of guilt cycle driven, not really going very far like that. What you want to do with bioenergetics, you've got to understand, although it's quite an intense physical practice, the emphasis is on feeling your body more. It's not like interval training. It's not like going down a gym. There's nothing wrong with those things. But it's not like that. What you're trying to do is open up the muscle system of the body and feel more. That way you have more energy. You can go down a gym and get an endorphin rush. Might go down there later after this. But the fact there's nothing wrong with that, but you're not really opening your body like that. And so the overall level of energy accessible to you is not opened up unless you do something like bio. Yoga won't do it. Pilates won't do it. The gym won't do it. Interval training won't do it. So those things, are not competing with bio. And the approach with bioenergetics is more like looking if you can get a daily practice going or a weekly practice going and really do it. Check some of my videos out. Welter, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Okay. Loving it. Thank you. A villager's condition where the veins in the scrotum fail to drain spent blood, causing a lot of issues. Ever heard of Bruce Lipton in his book there? Yeah, I've heard of Bruce Lipton. I did some, a therapist I knew very well was really into Bruce Lipton for a while, epigenetics or something, and biology of belief. Yeah, I think that stuff's important. I tend to work deeper in the body, and, belief systems come and go a little bit. I'm not so much working with that. There's a lot of therapists or other new age types working with belief systems. I'm working deeper in the body with holding, generally out of the verbal areas of the body. So I think it's great what he's doing. I haven't really kept up with Bruce Lipton. I read, I think, a book or so, a video about him maybe 5-10 years ago. Anyway, I listened to a podcast as well, but that was a good 10 years ago or so. But yeah, I'm sure it's all pretty good. It's very popular, that kind of stuff these days. Luke, hey Luke, good to hear from you. Any more news on the Bristol workshop? I gave a little update earlier, but basically I haven't managed to find a venue yet. Currently, my plan is to try and get something together in Brighton with a buddy of mine who I've got to convince him he can do it, a little bit. A mate of mine, a younger guy who's currently working as a builder as usual, well as actually a carpenter. He's a very good carpenter, but he's got a very fiery energy and there's a lot of therapeutic experience as well at the University in Holland. And I want to try and turn him on to doing some men's groups in Brighton, because he's down there and I'm down there a bit. I would like to get into Bristol and do something. The bottom line is I don't have a bloody venue yet, and I haven't really and the places I've checked out have all either been unsuitable or full. If you're turned on to getting it together and you have time to look for a venue where you can make a little bit of noise, then that would be great. I'm currently based in York. If I could ask my university for a venue, well, I'd be up for coming to York for like a one-day thing or a weekend or something like that. I don't know if I want to go up just for an evening. That just feels to me like that would be a long fucking way. Though I don't know the north of England very well, but I'm assuming it's quite a distance. And I also don't like to drive too much these days. I'm a bit lazy with the driving. I prefer to do the train thing, or otherwise get someone else to drive me. But I'm totally up to traveling as long as it's like, it's a one-day group. Get my expenses covered or something, or a little bit longer. I'm totally up for it. So that would be great. And I want to start to get in the next year a format together for working with guys, particularly young guys, 20s, 30s or whatever, but have got a young energy who really want to step the fuck up and move their energy and, are willing to go into confrontational process together, held by people like me that are experienced. So that's the plan, basically, with the Bristol workshop. Originally, the concept's the same. I always work kind of experimentally in a sense. A lot of my work is quite new. So, what I'll do is I'll start a workshop off and we'll start some practice and I'll see what works, what the feedback is, what seems to be working, what not, and it'll get moved over time. So all I need to do really is get this kind of men's group thing together. I already run one men's group, but it's a little bit of a different energy. get it together, get it moving, and then I'll get a clear concept that we can possibly take to other places around the UK or further away. But I just need to get it going. I think I can put my email address down here. You can look on my website or on any of my YouTube videos. It should be there. But let's stick it down there. If you put it down there. Okay, yeah, I hope that helps, Luke. Anyway, just drop a line to me and we'll discuss. No worries, man. But you know, it just needs to happen a little bit. I feel it's happening possibly with this mate of mine in Brighton. I won't say his name yet. And if that comes together, I think that'll be pretty exciting and fiery. Maybe do 3-hour session a weekday evening for one a month, and really get some energy kicked up. Ethan, okay, I know all of the exercises do this, but are there any specific improving confidence, social confidence? Usually, and this is to do with the throat. You know, energetically, the throat is where we kind of hold. You know, there's something we want to say, we want to put it out, but there's something that contracts there. So working with the throat is generally good for improving social confidence. Also, the belly can be good because it starts to relax the upper part of the body. But I would say throat exercises, if you look up Dragon's Breath on my YouTube channel, and if you look up, I mean, gag reflex is always good. I think I did a little video somewhere on the gag reflex, and, you know, basically I want to do it right on YouTube in case it freaks a few people out. You take two fingers, you stick them down your throat, and you rub the, you know, inside around here until you get that gag reflex going, and that's very, very useful. That will start to unlock your throat. Do 5 or 6 of those in a row. You don't need to do it so much you vomit. You know, you don't need to do that. You don't need to make yourself puke. Just the first gag, and that's enough. Wait another 20 seconds, do another one, and do 5 or 6. That's useful over time for opening up the throat area. Working with anger, if you can find a therapist who works with anger like myself, is also good to improve social confidence. Often there's a blockage there, and when you can let that, the confidence comes from feeling like I'm fucking okay to say what the fuck I want, you know. And when you have that confidence and you feel okay, you know, then it comes out. But of course, it's a bit of a journey to go there, you know. But I would say work with the throat in particular on a daily basis. And also give yourself little challenges, small challenges, approaching people, saying things in shops, whatever it is for you, so that you can start to speak out. Speak out and speak your truth. And look if you can come to a workshop sometime. I'll be very happy to work with you, man. It was great. No worries, man. Hope to hear from you. And let's get some shit together, eh? Hi, which of the bioenergetic work is most suitable for evenings? I've been doing some of the workouts in the evenings, but I hard fall asleep. Yes, they can be a bit overstimulating in the evenings. I mean, I tend to do more stuff like meditation in the evenings, or maybe listen to a bit of Osho. You can download stuff from Osho World, and just breathing and feeling your body is good in the evenings. But let me think a little bit what you could do in the evenings. I mean, you could try to do some pelvic work that you do lying down, or sucking reflex work. Stuff like that can be it can take energy out of your head as well. If you look on my YouTube channel, maybe there's one called This Exercise Sucks, my attempt at American humor, but there's some sucking exercises which kind of reset your brain chemistry to around like about 3 minutes old, essentially, and they can be quite bizarre to do those for a while. They could be something a bit more gentle to do and not overstimulating to do in the evening on the bioenergetic front. That's what I would say off the top of my head. Thanks for asking the question. Okay, I don't know if we have to scroll down. I think I'm up to date with the questions today. Anyway, if you're watching in there and you've got some kind of question, you're a bit nervous about putting it out, and you're worried about your social confidence, maybe take a risk with the behavioral therapeutic approach. Was always that you have to move towards a little bit what you're afraid of. Brian helping. Hey, man. Hey. Yeah, things are good. I'm doing this on my laptop, which is rather bad picture because I had so many trolls last week. I was shouting at them and stuff, which was a bit of a laugh. And I think other people enjoyed it, but I also felt it's not so professional. So I thought I'd use my laptop where you can ban people, but I haven't got any trolls this week so far. Maybe one will rock up in a bit. But yeah, things are good, man. just ran a very, or co-led a very successful workshop, group therapy at the weekend called I Want Change. Had about 40 people down for that. And what was particularly cool about this workshop was we had lots of staff. So often there's extra little tasks I have to do, like writing up a schedule of what we're doing. So next time I can remember what we did in the workshop and decide if I want to go in the same direction, what worked, what didn't, and doing the music and stuff. But I had staff, had a good DJ, had someone doing the schedule for me. You know, I really couldn't fault it. It was excellent. Just reminding my brain I need to get that schedule anyway off someone. It was a lovely group, you know, doing weekend workshop. Group therapy is so fucking awesome, you know. It's a little bit like, you know, Big Brother or something like that. You're all cooped up in a small environment for a weekend, and, you know, emotional tension and pressure increases. Emotions come out and you can work with them, you know. I love this shit, you know. I love it. And we have little bar hangouts and gentle stuff, a sauna, maybe, whatever. Some good stuff as well. Thanks for this. No worries, man. No worries. Keep moving yourself in a positive direction. In a positive direction. You got to do it. Got to do it. Anyway, man, I think you booked. Of course, you booked for Spiritual Bootcamp. Cool. Yeah, I'm putting a few videos out for that at the moment, and actually not videos, emails, sending a bit of I want to get up to the 20 participant mark, which is about the max for Spiritual Bootcamp. You can give me your opinion. Actually, I'm actually mind fucking about this. The first Spiritual Bootcamp I did in June, and part of it, the early morning stuff, was called Hose Down, which involves going outside and having cold water put all over you from this outdoor shower we have. So I'm just kind of thinking, October, is that a bit much for people? Is it a bit much for them to go out in October and have cold water over them? My inclination is no, let's do it. But I'm kind of you can give me your opinions. You're coming on the workshop, and we'll see. We'll see. Cold water is very, very powerful stimulant, you know, and it does a lot of its own. So we do like an early morning bioenergetic session, and then the staff on the group run this cold shower thing called Hose Down, which they seem to enjoy. It's probably scared you off. You want a refund now? I think if you look on the schedule, it does say Hose Down somewhere. People don't know what it means, and they look a bit shocked when you tell them. But we'll see. I think definitely the February one, I'll have to look whether I'm going to do it in February. But I think October it could be okay. Maybe I'll see the week before just how cold it really is and if it's too much for people. Or we'll make it optional or something like that. It has to, usually the groups are fairly mixed, gender balanced a little bit. So also sometimes the ladies are a little less keen, I notice, with the cold showers, than the guys are a bit more up for it with that kind of stuff. I'm not quite sure why. There's certain things that women are a lot more up for than men. But with the cold showers, it seems to be a little bit more of a guy thing. Anyway, it's a great technique, and if you haven't done like any of the cold training, because the cold training is good, and that's another great thing you can get into at this time of year, going out in your boxer shorts or something like that, and sitting outside when it's about 0, and just breathing really hard, fast. I do Osho chakra breathing outside when it's about 0 or lower, and you go through so much primal survival emotion. It's unreal. Your whole mind is saying, get the fuck out of here, put some clothes on, you cannot survive this, you're freezing, you're going to fucking die. Your brain is on and on about this, and you keep on doing it, and you come out after an hour and you feel like, I could fucking do anything. I could get in the ring with Mike Tyson or whatever. You know, which probably wouldn't be a good idea, but you feel like you can just do anything after an hour of cold training in the early morning. It's very, very powerful. You ain't doing it like... Another question. Hi Devaraj, do you think it would be smart to focus on one body part, like just doing shoulder exercise for a week or two, or focus on a body part and keep switching it up? Generally, when you start bioenergetics, what I recommend for people is to do bow and arch, you know, to give that a try for a week, really breathing and feeling into it. Also, the triple opener is a good one for an intro exercise, particularly for guys who want to get more down in their gut center. I mean, it's absolutely fine for women to do that, but generally male energy is more centered in the belly. And if you're a man, it's good to get your belly going, to get that male fire really there. Also, yes, shoulder exercises are great, particularly if you've got stiffness in the shoulders or you have to work a lot on computer, that kind of thing. Shoulders are good to do. But generally, I think it's good to really spend a few days on one exercise at a time. You know, doing a half an hour of it in the morning if you've got time, 20 minutes if you can, less if you haven't got the time, but doing it every morning. So you really start to also yourself grasp the exercise. Maybe watch the video once or twice to make sure, and even write down the little points of it can help you with the bow and arch. There's a video out there called Bow and Arch Masterclass that I did. And that way you can really learn the intricate little bits of it. And it also keeps your mind engaged when you're doing the bow and arch. You can scan around your body and check that you're doing it right. And that stops you spacing off somewhere, mind fucking, and just waiting for the bell or waiting for it to end. You know, so I would say focus on one of the exercises, not so much one body part, but one exercise like the bow and arch, which opens up the lower back, but other parts of the body as well. The bow and arch is good because it opens up the lower back. And the lower back is one main area where there's a lot of repressed feelings, particularly if you've got depression or anxiety, or you're seeking to help with those issues. Bow and arch is a very good start because often it comes down to a lot of stuck feelings in the lower back. If you're looking specifically to more step your energy right up or get into your male power, then something like the triple opener is good in the mornings. You can find that on my channel. You won't find it anywhere else. It's only on my channel. And if you are getting a lot of stiff shoulders and tension from computer working or whatever, yeah, great. Go for the shoulder exercises, something like that. That's what I would recommend. I'm hoping at some point to get the book and also some kind of program together for people and get that online. I'm just so glad that I managed to catch you online this week. Cool, Leanna. I have another question. If I'm doing several of the workouts, deep grounding, arms, bow and arch, is the sequence of workouts important? Not so much with those, I would say. Not so much with those. I would say, the basic exercises, a bow and arch, and also that's the one most therapists will tell you from the bioenergetic background. So basic exercise, that's your core exercise. I will also say bow and arch and triple opener is a core exercise to get more energy in the belly. You know, and more energy in the belly, everything starts to change in life. So those are the kind of basic exercises which I think anyone should be experienced with. And from there, yeah, do the arms, do other work as well. You know, the ankles also good, leg exercises, all sorts of stuff. But get the basic exercises down pat first of all is would be my recommendation for the average person. Well, to Freeman, you're releasing a book. No, well, I will do when I've written it. Basically, I have actually written a book before, a novel. So it's not. I don't feel like it's total pie in the sky to write one on bioenergetics. I just need to get a little team together. The reality of my life is I live communally, and sometimes I get a bit overly caught up with admin or computery stuff, and I somewhere don't prioritize this book. And I want to create a little team somewhere to get this book together somehow. So I'm just somewhere. I'll put that out and see if anyone comes. You have so much on YouTube, isn't all the info? Yeah, a lot of info's on YouTube, but sometimes a book format can be handy. You know, it can be handy. And you can also download it because, you know, you could go on YouTube, I imagine, you know, and see, fuck me, there's like 100 fucking videos. Where do I start? You know, and you might not find the one that's entitled, Where Do I Start? But then if you pick up a book, or an ebook or whatever, of course, it's got an intro. It tells you the opening exercises and stuff like that. So I think a book could be handy. And also I like the idea of writing a bioenergetics book. There's precious little written information on bioenergetics. A very famous therapist called Alexander Lowen wrote one about 20 years ago. He's passed away now, and it's been through about 4 editions. Called something which I should be able to remember because I'm always showing it to people. But that in itself is a bit limited in its scope anyway. He wrote a whole load of other books where he talks about bioenergetics, but doesn't show you any fucking postures, which drove me up the fucking wall because I was like, come on, man, get down to the nitty gritty. I've heard all the theory. Anyway, I need to get my arse in gear. I have actually planned out the exercise a little bit in the chapters. I just somewhere need to kick my own fucking ass or be part of a team that's getting this book together. Because when you're part of a team, then, you know, I'll fucking do it, basically. Yeah, everyone's interested in the book. That's cool. I need to get it together. You know, I'll make it one of those kind of quite big books. It's about 12 inches by 8 or something like that with illustrations in it. So somewhere I need to get a team together to get that and do like, you know, start to get the shit together and do it. You know, I know if I was living on the outside, I'd actually really get it together a bit more. It's one of those things that those projects that somewhere in that category, I don't quite get them properly together. I do need to kick my own ass and start to work on it. Or if anyone out there has got experience with taking photographs for books, I mean, a bit about layout and copy set, I know, or just would be up for being part of a team. You know, I'd credit you on the book. I wouldn't pay you basically, because unless I was getting a load of money out of it, I wouldn't be able to pay you. But if you have a bit of time and you feel like it's a project you could get into, then I'd be interested to discuss it with you and you get accreditation. I haven't really got it together aside of that, but let's see. I've also got a few people at Leela who could be up for helping with it, and I haven't really moved forwards with it. It's just a matter of getting some of these projects together. Anyway, guys, we're at about 20 to 7. If you've got a good question that you want to ask and it's sitting there stuck in your throat a little bit or stuck in your head, then now's a good time to put it out. And, you know, I'm happy to support people. I'm also happy sometimes to kick their ass a little bit. Mostly I don't do that on YouTube. Mostly we do it in person. I also need to kick my own ass sometimes or get other people to do it, like with this book. Generally the ass kicking, no, as a therapist, you know, working with confrontational work, usually we're nice as pie to people when we start with them. And if they're up for, you know, if you can see that they're seriously up for some real development, at some point you have to really start getting on their ass to in a good way, to keep them really motivated to move up. Because I tell you, there are not many high flyers in therapy out there, in my opinion. In body-based therapy, there's not many. I'm coming up, I'm getting a little bit old somewhere. It's not a cop-out excuse, but I'd love to see some young men or young women coming up in their 20s or whatever and really getting their shit together and, you know, have a British version of Elliott Hulse. Nothing at all fucking stopping you if you're listening to this in your 20s and 30s, or British or Swedish or European or African or whatever. There's nothing to stop, you know, you getting up there and being the new version of it. You be yourself, of course, you be yourself, but you being really fired up, going out there on social media and doing it. You just need to commit and develop yourself with the exercises, you know. And I'm happy to be a little bit father figure every now and again to support people to step up. But yeah, and I'm doing stuff, and there's more I can do, and I'm trying to plan that out. But if you're hearing this and it somewhere resonates with you, you want to be the, you know, your local version of Elliott, then I don't see anything stopping you, really. There's nothing stopping you. You don't need to be super good looking. You know, he's not a model. You know, you just need to get your energy moving and to keep it moving and get out into the world and do it. You know, sad to say, though true to say, the Americans do it far better than we do here in Europe. They just do. You know, there's more commitment, there's more energy. Often with American therapists, my opinion, which is a bit broad, is they're not always so good at being therapists. Actually, sometimes, you know, it's more driven. And sometimes the other aspects of it, it's a bit of a broad statement, a bit judgmental, but I see a lot of good therapists in Europe sometimes, you know, who are, you know, they're good guys, not step up motivational geniuses, but they're good guys, but they don't really get the clients because they don't stick themselves out there enough. And there's a lot of scope, in my opinion, for someone to really be the new big star of YouTube, really leading people forwards, you know, man or woman, who can really get out there, the warrior energy with bioenergetics. There's a lot of scope. It's a big fucking gap in the market. Hey, Ethan, bit of an odd question here. No worries. But do you think abdominal training and working towards a six-pack can tense up the belly? I felt like belly opening and core training contradict each other. I think it's okay. Just do both. Personally, I think it's okay. You know, because you can have muscles in your belly. You just don't want to reinforce holding patterns in your belly. That's the bottom line. So sometimes making your belly more tense seems bad, but the bottom line is you just don't want holding in the belly, you know, so that you can relax your belly if you want to, and you can also be having it looking like, you know, like out of a Coca-Cola commercial or whatever, you know. So I think abdominal training is fine. I was doing a bit for a while. It's also good to train the core muscles, but it is also good to release from the belly, you know. So something like the triple opener is also good to really bring feeling down into your gut. You know, people can do abdominal training and have the perfect fucking six-pack, but they are not centered in their belly in the fucking slightest. I see it in groups. It's good to get your body looking good and feeling good and getting that core energy going, but it doesn't mean that you're centered in your gut. down here in your belly. But you got that channel from the gut open right up to your throat. It's like a animal feeling. It's an animal, very primal feeling. That's what it's like. And you don't want to be like that all the time. But having that gut-centered power is very, very important if you're a guy. Opening up that channel from the gut to the throat, out the mouth. It puts you in your male power. If you want to be the boss, you're going to be the boss. If you want to say something in a way people listen to you, they're going to listen to you. If you want to take people on, you can take them on. So my short answer to your question would be, I don't think they're contradicting each other. I think it's fine to do abdominal training, but also do the triple opener or do belly breathing, something where you get in your belly and feel. So that when you tense the muscles, you're not tensing into holding patterns. You're also opening up the muscle system. Okay, guys, I'm going to be cooking a bit of been down with local butchers. They've got butchers around here. You don't get so many butchers these days around the place, but I've been down with local butchers and bought these pork things to cook with my girlfriend this evening. So she'll be coming around in a bit. And she's back from Italy now. And I'll do a bit more questions if anyone's got any energy or anyone wants a bit of energy, It's a shame in a way that people can't. I am well up for getting things going in Dublin. Let's do it. Yeah, cool, man. I know you're well connected on the social networking, and you keep doing this bioenergetics things, you get lower down. There's a lot of guys out there in the world who have got this heart-mind circuit going very well, and they're beautiful men and stuff like that. But when it comes to the heavier confrontational work, they're kind of out the doorway. And if you're willing to do both, do the heart, the mind, and the gut. I mean, there's fucking nothing stopping you on this planet. I tell you, man, if you've got the courage to do all of that, there's going to be nothing stopping you in this planet. You can be, it's like a ladder inside, you can be right down in your gut, like belly, the belly of the beast, as they used to say, that old, that book, right down in your gut, hanging out with guys, hanging out with fucking criminals and shit, hardened fucking people. And relating on that level, from the gut center, and then you can come up into your heart, and feel what's happening inside in your life, in your emotional life. You can have your throat open and really put energy out from your heart or from your gut, and your mind clear. Once you clear the gunge out of your belly, your mind becomes much clearer. You don't need to deviate or divert. You can meditate. You can be totally in your power. You can be totally fucking sexual, and you can be really in your heart, then you become like an utterly fucking awesome human being, and it can be a bit of work and stuff, but I mean, fuck, man, there's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. Anyway, if anyone's got a last question, someone's sending me something in Arabic here. Long time since I spoke Arabic. But only Darija, not proper, classical Arabic. But anyway, I don't speak so much. I am half Iranian, and I know Iranians hate being called Arabs. But anyway, I tend to yawn a lot during workouts. Good sign. Good sign. It's a relaxation sign, and the jaw opening. Yawning is good. Totally cool. I missed a question. You can relate to people on a whole new level in my experience. I remember vivid conversations after the day I tried bio. Exactly, when you get your chest more open, you don't have to be so reactive. You can just be really open. It's like you're in this state of being with people, and you're relating to people. It's almost like a slightly mystical experience almost, when you first start to do it. Just to really be open and have that heart-to-heart connection is fantastic. It's fantastic. And you can really, you can just cope with much more emotionality in your life naturally. You can cope with a lot more emotionality. Usually when people trigger feelings, we go into some kind of reactive defensive behavior, but when you've got your chest, your heart area more open, which these shoulder exercises and some triple opening are great for, you can just be with people, and it's a delight with some people. Some people not so delightful. You want to keep a little bit away from them if they're too hard and angry or whatever, but you're fine people. Anyway. Oh, I've got a few little, it looks like I've got a few Arabic trolls today, I guess. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I don't really understand enough. And if I'm Arabia, but it's a long time since I read it, so I can't really do it anymore. I was in Morocco in my 20s a lot because I was an adopted kid, but I was half Iranian. It turned out I didn't know that at the time, but I was always attracted to Arab culture and to that kind of visceral street energy. You go in North Africa and you see, people are talking normally, but like you think they're about to start to kill each other or something, because they're shouting in each other's faces. They're just having a normal morning conversation. I remember distinctly being a vegetarian back in those days in my 20s, and I learned this thing, but I'd say it in a lightweight way, and no one would understand what the fuck I was talking about, waiters, but then you shout it out like you're about ready to kill someone, and they understand it. I like that quality of Arabic. I love Arab countries. When you say to engage with the feeling, what are you concentrating on specifically? Your body. Feel into the body and look for areas where it's aching. I also struggle to go through the pain and breathe deep at the same time. Any tips on what I should do? Fix my mind on. Okay, so one thing is, don't push so hard. Stay on the edge of your comfort zone. Stay on the edge of a comfort zone. If, for example, you do an arch position, leaning forwards, fingertips 6 inches from the floor, if it's really not too painful for your lower back, put your hands or elbows on your knees every now and again. So don't stay on the edge of your comfort zone, but don't go totally into agonizing pain. That's not so useful. Edge of a comfort zone, and then breathe and really feel your body. You don't want to fix your mind on something to keep it out of the way so much. You can sometimes, like in the bow and the arch, eyes open, fix a little bit on the point in the wall, but soft focus. I don't do the hard focus stuff. Some other bioenergetic therapists might do that a little bit on the very male kind of side. It's not so much my thing. So with pain, you want to have it right on the edge of of your comfort zone. That is something good to remember. It's easy sometimes to push too hard. If we're used to pushing, if you're used to doing the gym workouts and stuff, what you actually want to do is really breathe and feel. That's the core. Breathe and feel, and keep it on the edge of your comfort zone, and stay in that zone, until the bell goes. Stay in that zone until the bell goes. So when there is pain, in a group process, that I'm leading, I can monitor how far people are out of it, because I'm used to doing that kind of work. But when you're doing it so I can guide people quite deep in, but when you're doing it on your own, work on the edge of a comfort zone, and that will expand over time, and there'll be a gradual expansion. But you don't need to be in total pain and trying to breathe through it. It might not be so useful for you. Experiment so that you can breathe deep. If it's so painful you can't breathe deep, slacken off a little bit and breathe a bit more deeply, and then slowly engage. I hope that's useful. Okay. Habib Khan, Ayo Dev. Hello, man. Hello. Okay, I'm only going to do a couple more minutes, I think, because I'm going to have some dinner. So if you've got a last minute question that's burning in your throat, then do it. I should have a better screen next week. Usually I do it with my phone, but then when I get a lot of trolls, I should delete them rather than shout at them, I think. So you can't do that with the phone version of YouTube, unfortunately. So I've got this knackered old laptop, but I'll have a MacBook next week to do it with. Anyway, if you're wondering why the picture quality is a bit down. But anyway, it's not like I'm some kind of model, so hopefully the picture quality doesn't matter too much. Okay, if you've got a last question, then please put it out. Otherwise, feel free to like it or whatever. They always say in America on YouTube, subscribe, hit like, that kind of thing. Anyway, I guess when you're, competing in an area when there's a lot of other people doing it, then, you need to do all that stuff to stay ahead. But there's virtually fuck all bioenergetic therapists on YouTube, basically. So I have it's a bit easy at the minute. It would be good to have a bit more competition, really. There's an old guy somewhere, and Elliott's famous, but he's not really specifically teaching that so much. Cole, tell us, do you know about shadow work? Have you tried it? Well, shadow work refers to a few different things, but it's a bit more cognitive in my experience. My work is basically working with what's repressed, but at a bodily level rather than a kind of cognitive mental level. So it's a little bit different. Essentially. You know, it's basically working rather than your mind looking at what's repressed and whatever shadow sides of yourself that you're hiding from. You just start to open up the muscle system of the body, and that's where all the shit is held anyway. So to my mind, you know, that's more what I want to do rather than get involved with more cognitive psychological level. Okay. But there's nothing wrong with it, and it's horses for courses. Hello, I'm new into bioenergetics. I have lots of anxiety and panic attacks the last 2 years, but I managed to fix it working out in meditation. What do you advise? Well, bioenergetics is similar in a way to working out in meditation. What for anxiety, I'm going to do a video called Understanding Anxiety. Let me write that in my bloody book. I don't think I've done that one yet, and I should do it because I do work with anxiety a lot. Understanding anxiety. Shit, I've already got it down there. What am I doing? But basically, anxiety is inadequately feeling certain areas of your whole life, your body, your being, whatever, you know. And as you, with meditation, you start to feel your body. Mindfulness, you start to feel your body, put your focus on your body, anxiety goes down. But with bioenergetics, it's more like, you know, it's like you're waiting for stuff to come and then you feel it. With bioenergetics, you're going in there and you're opening the body. So it's like mindfulness 2.0. Basically, you're actually going to open up and look for the stuff to come out. And it's very good for anxiety, but you need to make sure you've got the breathing and the feeling going. You're not just looking, because the natural tendency in anxiety is for people to look for something that takes the anxiety away. Whereas to treat anxiety with this style of therapy, you actually need to feel more. Slowly go into that part of your being where the anxiety is, and slowly, bit by bit, feel it. Anyway, man, I've got to go now, basically. But thank you. Yes, Grace. Hey, nice to hear from you again. And right, man, Chance Goldmine, love Stormzy in the background. Yeah, it's a I Am Dimitri thing. Okay, man. Cheers, man. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. I'll be back next Tuesday. Yep, should be for certain. Hopefully with a better picture. And speak to you all soon. And remember, keep doing the bioenergetics. No excuses. No excuses, guys. Want to see where we're stepping up, man. We're stepping up. Get on the Telegram channel if you're on Telegram. I've got to get a bit more active on the Facebook channel. But look for links for those on any of my other videos, and speak to you soon. Over and out.